Hi, my name is Jesse Bellamy, and I played the character of William.
My name is Janessa Black, and I played Virginia.
My name is Christian Slavin, and I played George.
One more time, please.
What's it? George Winfield? George Mayfield?
Hello, my name's John Logan, and I played James. For me, I've never done anything like this before. I didn't act in high school. I didn't. This was my first and so far only acting gig, so I had no expectations. I had no idea what I was doing, so the whole thing was a brand new learning experience for me, and I really enjoyed all of it.
I've only ever acted on stage before in middle school and high school, and so this was my first time acting on film, and so it was very different. Being able to, you could say the same thing multiple times and just take the best shot instead of having just one chance to nail that line or that look or whatever it may be.
From the museum side of that, it is interesting that artifacts can survive much longer than the people that are tied to them. And as history goes, the artifacts themselves are great. But if we have the story of the person or people who had some interaction with that artifact, as far as the rifle goes, that was my great-grandfather's rifle. It came west with him out of Ohio. And the same thing with the revolver. That was Hope Benedict's family heirloom that we were lucky enough to get to use in this production. So from the museum side, we see that all the time. I've got this thing, and the first question we ask is, oh, we love that thing, but can you tell us a story about a person connected to it? Because it really enriches the learning opportunity about how things were used, and that provides a snapshot of 100 years ago, 150 years ago.
Yeah, I had no idea they had a baseball team. I didn't realize that there was a lot more to the town than I thought there was. I didn't realize that there was a large cemetery up on the mountain, and I didn't notice there was so many different buildings and how actually populous this place was at one point.
Oh yeah, we got to go to this really cool train car out in the middle of nowhere, and it's super cool looking, so I'm going there for my photos. I really liked all the authentic costumes. It was really cool to travel back in time and do that.
I thought it was fun to see the old buildings there, and then just as Janessa said, to see the old costumes, especially the nurse uniform and then the baseball uniform. Mm-hmm. I didn't know they had a baseball team out there. I thought it was great that we could take part in this project to help document some of Lemhi's history. And it wasn't telling a true story. It was showing the real places and the real objects, the real clothing that they wore, right? And the real guns, and they had dominoes and a pocket watch and things like that. And so I thought it was great to be able to see all that and to tell the story so that people in the future could look at it and see these different objects and learn a bit about that time period.
That was the one prop that I had to really scramble for. Like the rest, the stuff from the museum that was part of that collaboration all came together really nicely. And then out of the blue, they're like, anybody have any idea where we can find a set of angel wings? And so the ones that we used are great, but and they weren't heavy, but they were definitely awkward and oddly fragile as they slimmed down to the very tips of those feathers. We were trying really hard not to bend those up because they're just on loan. They're not something we actually own. So yeah, it was a cool prop though. I'm glad it worked out exactly like that, because a big pair of fluffy feather wings wouldn't have meshed in quite as coolly.
For the baseball uniform, I just reflected back to when I played baseball, and that people played baseball back in the day, and people still play it now, and I was able to relate back to that sense of camaraderie and just playing sports and having fun. And it was a little itchy, so I was glad. I'm glad they have new uniforms.
As for the nurse's outfit, it was really cool. They told me, you told me it was really authentic and someone had actually worn it. You see in pictures, oh, there's a nurse and all these big events in time, but actually putting it on, wow, this really happened. A real person was actually witnessing those events, and so it was kind of like a I'm not that big in this world, yeah, kind of thing.
Acting with everybody, I thought that was the greatest part because I mean I had the most fun with everybody. So talking with all the different people was probably the easiest, but I'd say that was the most fun and easiest for me.
I was super nervous. These people are all way older than me. Not that you're ancient or anything, but I'm obviously the youngest one here, and they're all like have way more experience. So I was super nervous, but it all came out good, and I was excited, and it was fun.
I decided to act for it because I was asked, and I just thought that was the coolest deal ever. Like being asked to act outside of school was one of the coolest things I think I got to experience. So that's why I did it. Not gonna lie, it was pretty cold. It was pretty cold wearing a t-shirt. Even though it was wool, I can't imagine how Janessa felt with her nurse's uniform, but it was probably the cold.
Yeah, and where I was standing for the shots, we had to stand still for a really long time, and I was right in front of the window, and it started snowing, and the wind was blowing, and I had to keep a straight face with the snow in my eyes, so that was pretty hard.
Yeah, I would say Ghost of Gilmore was not forged in fire, but maybe forged in ice. As far as the camaraderie and we're out here and the conditions suck. Like the equipment's freezing. Like you can't get it from the warm heater room to where the shot needs to take place without it freezing up. So as we stand there and oh wait, we have to redo that take because the iPad froze in the middle of it. Please just keep standing there in front of that snowing window. You'll be fine. As Jesse's over there, like, I can't stop shaking. And Janessa, I thought, just was turning blue under her makeup. It was really cool. I mean, when you agree to do a project and then the conditions itself challenge you, not only the project challenge you, I think in a way it makes it a more memorable experience.
Yeah, it was really cool. We looked pretty ghostly, and that just adds like the final effect. I think she did a good job.
Yeah, for my first experience ever on film or stage, it was pretty surreal. Like I expected the Twilight Zone narrator to be in the front seat of your little blue car as I sit very, very close to Maya, who is sitting very, very close to Janessa because it's the only warm spot in the entire world at that point where that makeup will actually be able to be applied. It was pretty surreal because I've never had anybody this close touch my face before. That's not related to me and a toddler. So it was a completely new experience for me, and it was pretty awesome. It's like, oh, okay, this is just how this works. Fantastic. I was most excited about the production level, bringing something this advanced technology-wise over to the museum in a collaboration with the library.
So I think I was just mostly surprised and just in awe of the technology and that you could actually do this.
I really enjoyed it. That's a great sound booth there at the library, and I hope this project showcases that ability in our town. And again, that's a huge part of why I collaborated on this, is so we could take those steps forward and be modern and relevant in our presenting of Lemhi County history.
I definitely agree with that. I honestly didn't know that the library had these nice of facilities. Like I just thought it was like a smaller recording booth with like a plain microphone, but this was like high quality technology, and I was just blown away of like how professional it was and how Salmon is becoming a cooler and more modern place, I guess, in that sense.
I really enjoyed acting as James, as the narrator for this film. I think he does a great job of trying to bridge that gap between an historical story and a place that has survived all these years as a ghost town.
I think he really did want to provide for himself provide for his brother, provide for, Virginia if she agreed to marry him, right? And so even though he was maybe power hungry, a little bit greedy, he wanted everything his way, he did that so that he could provide for other people. See, George isn't really the villain of the story, but he's not really a good guy in the story, right? At least that's the feeling that I got.
Yeah, I definitely felt some similarities from Jack and Newsies. The most glaring resemblance that I thought of was that he was trying to help out others, even though like he did kind of swindle a guy. He was still trying to help out his brother, like trying to get his brother like the most amount he could, and just trying to help out the ones he loves. For me, it felt a little bit eerie because we were in the graveyard and we could see the bumps where the people were buried and like the old gravestones, and it just felt a little eerie, but very cool at the same time because it really set the mood, and the snow too was a really cool touch.
Yeah, Virginia, she really just, the biggest thing in her life is her father, and she'd do anything for him, and she gets really upset when people try to kind of, what's the word? When they like cheat him out and they don't treat him well, and so she's willing to do anything, and she won't let herself be pushed around. She's kind of like, she stands firm like she has to in her life. So I kind of just took whatever I could to be strong. Oh yeah, as soon as he contacted me, I was like, oh yes, because acting is my life, and I constantly think about what I'm going to do next, and just exploring characters. I really like to find a new character because you get to become that character, and you get more insights you could just bring to your own life. So I was very excited.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't expect it. Hearing what we were going to do, and there was no large pre-shoot meeting, right? We didn't get together and rehearse our lines. So as we stood there in the cold, we really did begin to understand the story a little bit better. And so yeah, I loved the ending. I thought it was perfect. I hope other people do too. I think it's a really nice send off there at the end.
I'm thinking about auditioning for a college play soon and doing something along the lines of that. But I mean, it's probably not going to be my career, I should guess, but you never know. I can't say anything yet.
We're doing Beauty and the Beast soon, so we're coming on this stage soon to practice, and it's just it's good to get back here and just to look at it again.